All right. So tonight, maybe longer. We don't know. We don't know how long this class is. We never know. We just go with our heart, and whatever happens, that's the way it happens, right? So I feel like tonight we should first. I want to do a little meditation first tonight. It'll be a short one, but it'll be one so that we can kind of open our hearts and our minds and relax ourselves and be able to have understanding. So that's pretty much what we're trying to do, is have an understanding for what it is that we're looking for, what it is that we're trying to do with ourselves. And we have to be honest. So one of the hardest things inside of our own self is to tell ourselves the truth, because most of the time we don't like the truth. We don't like how it sounds.
Correct.
So we try to hide it and tell ourselves something else. Like, no, we tell ourselves these little stories to make us feel okay about doing something that we know isn't what we need to do inside ourselves. So if we speak only truth to ourselves, that clears all that. So we want to try to figure that out, how to speak that inside of ourselves. So as we meditate, this meditation, we'll have one at the end too, but we're going to have one to begin with. So what I want you to do is just try to relax everything in your body. So I'm going to do a little chant that invites everything, all the kind angels, divas, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to invite them all to come and be with us and help us gain understanding. So, ke kame charupe karisi karatate jandari ke uimane tiperate jakame taruana akane ke hawatum hikete Puma Jayantu Diwa Shalatala Vesaninyaka Kantapananta Titanta Shantikeyam Muniwana Vachanam Sunantu Dhamma Savanagalo Ayang Samantana Dhamma Savanagalo Ayang Bantan Dana Dhamma Savanagalo Ayang Pantan Dana. Take a deep breath in. Follow that breath down into your lungs. Let it out. Follow it up through your lungs, through your windpipe, out your nose. Feel the air as it comes into your nose, breathing. And let it out. Just relax. Just let your body relax and your mind relax. asking that our wisdom will come. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Another deep breath in, let it out. And one more time, deep breath in and let it out. Okay, you can open your eyes. Are we all okay?
Yep.
Okay, so I haven't held a class in a while. And so I've been in Thailand. For those who do not know, I was in Thailand and I go there every year. And this year, or I guess it was last year now, I went to Thailand and Roger and Daniel went to Thailand with me. And they came back and, well, Roger came back after Daniel, but something told me I had to come back. And usually I stay a long time, but my trip I cut short. And everybody there was like, why? And I don't know, but I know I have to go. It was 1 month later that Roger had his accident. So I was sent here. I had to come back. And after his accident, I had a little bout with cancer on my head. So I had chose to stop teaching because every year we're supposed to take time off. We're supposed to take 3 months off and work on ourselves. And I had not done that in a couple years. So that was actually why I had stopped teaching, because I was going to take 3 months off and work on myself. But then I found out I had cancer. So you think you can't work on yourself, but you can. And it shows you, like, when you have things in your life that happen, and what we think in our mind is we think it's like the worst thing in the world. Like, that's what we tell ourselves immediately. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Roger's accident, same thing. We tell ourselves this is the worst thing in the world. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It's not. It's your greatest teaching. Your hardest trials are your greatest teachers. I know this because I just went through it. And it teaches you if you pay attention. But if you're not paying attention, you completely miss what is being given to you. It's a gift. Like all these trials that you have, they are gifts for you. But we think of them in the negative because it's change in our life. So let's take my cancer, for instance, okay? It's not mine. It's not my cancer. It's not me. It's not who I am. Right? It just is. It's just that. It has nothing really to do with me. Sounds crazy, I know, but it's truth. So what did it show me? Showed me where I needed to work on myself. See, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing to see where you need to work. Because if you don't see it, you can't fix it. Our whole life is this. This is what it is. It's not about finding something outside of you. This is the hardest thing for people to get when it comes to enlightenment or trying to figure life out or trying to have something more than what you have inside. Like we're always searching for that thing that makes us feel better. Where is it? Where is it? It's inside of you already. Yeah. You're looking in the wrong place. As soon as you see it inside of you, it will, boom, you'll know it. You'll know it. And then you can be like, okay, I need to cultivate that. What is it? It's loving kindness. That's what it is. I'm telling you, I'm giving you everything. And tonight's going to be intense because you need to understand it's not outside of you. It's not outside of you. I promise you. I looked everywhere in the world. I spent tons and tons of money trying to find somebody to help me. It doesn't exist because you have to do it for yourself. No one can do it for you. That's the hard thing because we're taught we can't do it. We're taught that, like, especially here in the United States, you're taught that you're a victim of everything, that you can't do it. You're a victim, you're helpless, you know. And then you think you have no power. See, most people, I went to the doctor, they wanted to do surgery. I had the right to say no. Everyone has that right. This is your life. This is yours. You have the right to figure out how to make it work for you. There's rules, though. The rules are do no harm to anyone. Now, that includes yourself first. See, but we don't do that. We do no harm to everybody around us. And we try to help everybody because we don't want to look at ourselves. That's why. But that's exactly why teachers have to take off 3 months a year to evaluate their own well-being. Everybody needs to do it. But the problem is when we do it, we don't speak truth to ourselves. We tell ourselves stories. And I'm going to give you, for instance, because it's hard to understand it unless you have those examples. So, when I was young, I had eating problems. I still, if I let myself, I could go that route, right? So I would say to myself, I haven't had much to eat today. When in reality, I had. I just didn't count it because I didn't sit down and eat a meal. Right. I may have had a couple chips here, pretzels, or piece of cheese here, and no, it didn't count because I didn't sit down and have it on my plate. You see, these are stories that we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves this about all kinds of things to give us the ability. Now, this is important, to give us the ability to harm our own self. That's what that does. Mm-hmm. It harms you. But we don't know it because we've been taught to do that. They'll say things like that. It's just a little bit, it doesn't count. You ever heard that? It don't count. These are instilling things in you to tell yourself lies so that you can do things to harm yourself. That's what it happens. That's literally what happens. I did it my entire life until someone said to me, you got to speak truth to yourself. And I was like, well, I am. And they're like, no, you're not. Well, I thought I was. Everybody, we do. We think we are. We think we're telling ourselves the truth, But it's not. And until you actually speak truth to yourself, it makes absolute zero difference what anybody thinks about you. This is true. Zero. How? Let's look at it. How could it make any difference what someone thinks of you? They're not living your life. They're not paying your bills. They're not working with your kids or your husband or your wife or your girlfriend. They don't have to drive your car. They don't have to pay your bills. They don't have to do any of that. So why are you worried about what they think? Makes no difference in your real life, See, real life is something that happens inside of you with your own self. That's real life. It's not about how many cars we have or how much money we have or how good we are at whatever it is. That makes no difference. How many millionaires do you see that are just miserable because it doesn't mean anything? It's paper. Money's paper. It means zero. The only thing we need money for is nothing, really. Really, it's nothing. You can grow your own garden if you want to. You know, you can drill your own well and drink your own water. It's going back to that. People are getting to the point now where they're like, hey, I know how to grow a garden. I know how to do this. I can have chickens. I can get my own eggs. Yeah. Because it's very disheartening to see the world thinking about money. Yesterday I went over to see my dad, and my dad's memory is going, one minute he'll say, oh, you remember when I had that, like a grapefruit ball of cancer inside of me? I'm not really, I wasn't born yet, but, and he's like, but oh, yeah, I know. 10 minutes later, remember when I had that? It's okay. It's okay. We don't have to be like, oh my God, he's 90. You know what I mean? Like, he's 90. So what? He doesn't remember what he said 10 minutes ago. Who cares? Okay, I'll listen again. That's compassion. That's love. Just listen. Just sit and listen. Who cares he said it 15 times? I don't care. What difference does it make? Whether he says that or something else. Who cares? We make big deals out of things that aren't big deals. If I make it to 90, I'll probably say the same. I'll do it now. I say the same thing over and over again now. Who cares? We don't need to make a big deal out of that. What does it hurt? Does it hurt anything? No. It's okay. Like many things in our life, it's okay. We take it and we try to make something, I don't know, some kind of catastrophe out of things that don't need to be that. Like living in peace is an amazing thing. And if you have never done it, you need to try to work on it, because it gives you the ability to be in any kind of circumstance and still maintain yourself, your peace inside. And in order to do that, there's 5 things. Speaking of repeating myself, and they're all written right here. Okay. So the first one is called Satya, and it means truth inside yourself. Speak only truth to yourself. It's difficult, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. We really all our life have spoken to ourselves lies continually. Okay. So, but it's a habit that you can get into, or you can get out of, both. You have to practice in order to maintain it. If you don't practice it, you'll fall back into the stories that you tell yourself. And it happens every single time. So, but if we're not practicing telling ourselves truth, then what are we practicing? Telling ourselves lies. You're doing one or the other. So why not do the one that makes you feel better? That's the key. And here's another thing, is that when we are not doing something if we're not doing something that makes us feel good, we know it. Like we can feel that this isn't correct. Like we probably shouldn't be doing this. And then A lot of times we go ahead and do it, and then later we're sorry because our inner self said, don't do that, but we didn't listen to our inner self. And then we went with, our ego, which is what that is, that's telling you to do something that you probably shouldn't do, but your ego is like, I can do whatever I want to do. Right? And then you do it, and then you're like, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I did that. We do this to ourselves all the time. But if you speak truth to yourself, you will not. You won't do that. It's automatic. Metta. Metta is loving kindness. And that is your key that unlocks everything. And I do mean everything. So yesterday when I went with my dad, we went to a IHOP and we had a meal. But the waitress, I could feel her heart, and it was sad. And I knew it right away. And I got up a couple times and went over and asked her for honey, not really because I needed a lot of honey, but I needed to speak to her a couple times. And then I went back and I sat down. Now, my dad wouldn't let me pay for lunch. That's fine. But I knew I had to do something to let her know that I saw her. So I folded up some money and I handed it to her when she came. Now listen to this. She said to me as soon as I handed it to her, she said, no, I can't. That's too much. She didn't even know how much it was. Okay? This is someone that has a heart of gold, but doesn't think she's worthy. You see, I saw her worthiness, her beautiful heart, her kindness. I also saw that she was broken. So she came back and I told her, I said, you keep it. That's for you. I gave it to you. And so she went away. She took it and went away. And then she came back again. I can't, this is too much. I said, no, it's not too much. She said, there were two. And I said, yes, I know exactly how much I gave you. You are worth it. And she started to cry. She said, can I hug you? I said, 100%.
Bring it.
I got up and I hugged her. And you know what she whispered in my ear? I just quit my other job because someone was bullying me. She said, and I've only been on this job 4 days. And my wrist hurts because my ex-boyfriend broke my wrist and I had to get a metal rod put in it. And I said, I know. I was there one day. I said, but it's going to change because life always changes. It never stays the same. I was in that exact same position she was. This is why we go through the things we go through. Because once we get through all of it and we actually find the love in our own heart, then we can see, for real see. See, right now, everybody walks around with blinders on. They cannot see. I saw her because I cleaned my own heart. And when you clean your own heart, you not only see the love in your heart, you get to experience the love in everyone else's. And everyone has it. But they don't know it. They walk on. She has no idea how beautiful her heart is. She has no idea. She's clueless. I tried to tell her in that instant that we had, that minute, that second that we had together. That's what we get sometimes with someone. Sometimes we only get a second or a minute
to give them loving kindness.
It's funny how they catch it.
They catch it because they're hungry for it. Everyone's hungry for it. But you see, I didn't try to fix her. You understand?
Yes.
I did not try to fix her. I only tried to let her know that someone cared about her, that there was love for her in this world. That's so crazy right now. She said, "Can I get your number?" I said, yes. I gave her my card. I said, here's Line App. You can watch it on Line App. You can watch it on YouTube. You know, this is the change of the world. See, if you change yourself, the world changes. But it does not happen until you do it for yourself. So we spend all this time trying to do it for someone else, and you cannot. But it happens automatically when you do it for yourself. When you do it for yourself and you've cleaned your heart and you become nothing but loving kindness, what happens is that spreads like a virus. And then someone else feels that love because you're just beaming with it because you've already done you. When you do you, everything else happens automatically. Boom, 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 boom. You all have actually witnessed it, like live in action witnessed it. Some of you have actually felt it. And then let it go. Right? This has happened. And you think to yourself, I'll never let it go. This is the best feeling in the world. I'm never going to let it go. But how it goes is we forget to do number 1 and number 2 right there. We stop doing those. And as soon as we stop doing those, our ego is waiting. It's waiting in the background, waiting for you to stop doing those. Because those 2 things right there, they'll push it out. They'll stop it from coming. But if you don't do those 2 things, it comes right on in. Then you're back without your peace. This is the cycle that we go through. I know I went through it many, many times. Then one day I'm like, wow, all I have to do is keep doing this. If I keep doing this, I'm practicing inside my own self. It's not about anybody else. But we try to please everybody else. We ask their opinion on everything in our life. And then we take their opinion and question our own. No, don't do that. Because only you know truth inside of you. Other people telling you what to do, they don't know your truth. Only you know it. And you're asking somebody to give you their opinion, and they have no idea. Then they give you one, but it's not the right one because that's for them, not for you. We spend our entire life doing that. And looking aimlessly for it. It's like the best secret that's hidden right in plain view. It's in you. It can't get any closer to you. It does not. You can't. It doesn't. It's there. It's inside. And you feel it at times. Like you feel it. Everybody. There's not one person on this earth that hasn't felt that at one point in time. And what do I mean by that? I mean that loving kindness, that spark of, like even for yourself. Like when you feel like you've done something kind. You feel that. You're like, that felt so good to help that person. You feel it. That's it. That's that loving kindness, that when they smile and they thank you and
that's that loving kindness. You've connected your heart with that person, you see? And that's the instant that you feel that unconditional love for yourself and that person. It happens instantly. And we forget that because then we go on about life and shit happens, as they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we think it's happening to us. See, I had a lot of stuff happen in the last 6-8 months, right? But it didn't happen to me. It happened, but not to me. Life is happening, but it's not happening to you, happening for you. It's definitely happening for you. But you have to receive it. You have to accept the gift. Some of the best gifts are not pleasant ones at first. You know, it makes you work for it. It's not an easy journey. You know, we fight it. It could be easy. For sure it could be easy. You know, just think about it. Think about this. If you woke up one morning and all you thought about was kindness, just kindness. You woke up, oh, let me be kind to my cat or my dog, or oh, let me be kind to the birds outside. I'll feed them. And just kindness. And the whole day, that's all you did. Not one thought of anger or resentment. You just thought of being kind. It's a great day. And that day would be like no other day you ever had. And then you could get up the next morning and do this exact same thing. Right. This is truth. Like I'm telling you the way to peace. I'm giving it to you. And most people think you got to pay somebody. You know, I did. Oh my God, I paid thousands of dollars trying to get some kind of enlightenment or peace or, you know how I got it? It was free. It was free. I had somebody tell me it's free. What are you trying to pay for it for? You don't charge somebody to find peace. It's in you. Then he gave me those right there, So the third one, patience. Have patience for yourself. Yes, Roger. Patience. But I'm going to tell you, these things happen. Like if you do, number one, if you do truth inside yourself, truth is kindness. Like when you're speaking truth, you're being kind inside yourself. Because the truth is, none of the crap outside of you matters. It automatically takes you to patience. Because when you're being kind and loving, you're going to have patience.
He kept asking me, what'd you learn today when I through all this whole thing? I've learned a lot of patience. And I didn't have them. I didn't have.
No, he did not.
Because I'm a very angry person. Especially
Are you?
When I have pain. And I did take out my anger of hurting. Not when I was in intensive care, I would snap and not think about it. And then Kim would say, why are you snapping at me? I was like, what? No, I'm not. And I was like, yeah, yes, you are. But I did, like when I got into the nursing home and I wasn't in as much pain, she was like, what'd you learn today? And I was like, today was a good day for patience. Because I learned a lot of patience because every step is a tiny one, especially, and she was there through all of it to see the maybe that not the anger go all the way away. But I mean, eventually it did. I wasn't snapping at every.
But that's life. That's how life works. If we have something we have to work on, it's going to bring it to us. And it will bring it, and it won't be pleasant. It's not going to be pleasant. But it's okay that everything doesn't have to satisfy a pleasure. Because sometimes we work hard for ourselves, because in the end we'll have peace, and peace is much more pleasurable than anything I've ever experienced. So you have patience. The next thing is effort. And this is where a lot of us kind of go to the wayside. Because once we get all this, our ego pops up, right? Once we're speaking truth to ourselves and we have this loving kindness and we have patience, then we're like, oh, I got this. I got this now. I feel good inside and everything's good and I got it. Well, guess what? When you say that, if you don't continue to do those things, the next thing you know, stuff starts coming and you're not thinking clearly because you're not speaking truth to yourself. And then your anger pops back, or your resentment, or, there's many things, many facets. So if you do those 100% peaceful, and that's where the effort comes in, because it takes effort. It takes effort because we have been taught our entire life not to think about what we're thinking about. We're taught just to let your mind go randomly. You don't have to think about it. And then you're spitting out things you haven't contemplated. And it creates problems in your life because we spit it out and we don't think about it. But see what meditation does, this is why meditation is important, is because you have the opportunity to see those thoughts as they're coming and there's no distraction. And as you see those thoughts, you have an opportunity to decide what you want to do with those thoughts. It's not clear my mind and not have a thought. I don't know very many people who know how to do that. Especially when you're just starting to meditate and you don't do it every day, and you might do 5 minutes or 2 minutes a day. You're not going to be able to clear your mind, but you will be able to see what you're thinking if you pay attention. Don't let it randomly run off, because here you are in meditation and all of a sudden you're out in la la land. Like you'll be somewhere other than right here in your mind without any thought of what am I doing? You understand? And we've gone into dreamland, la la land, dreamland, but we haven't done anything with ourselves. Matter of fact, what we've done is create more chaos, because whatever that la la land is, it's us wishing or saying, I wish I hadn't, or I wish I had, when you're in that la la land, or I want. And so if you stop yourself from just letting your mind wander into never, never land, if you stop and go, what am I thinking? Is it true? Is it true what I'm telling myself in la la land? Is that a truth or not? Like you have to make yourself speak truth inside yourself. I can do it for you. Like I can tell you, is that true? And then you'll say, well, yes. And I'll say, how is it true? And then you'll say, well, blah, 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 blah. And I'll say, is that really true? And we'll go through that whole scenario, right, Roger? Mm-hmm. And then we get back to, it was an untruth, when you can do that for yourself. I don't have to sit and say, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? You can do it. And when you do, you have an epiphany. You go, oh my God, I've been lying to myself that whole time. Well, it feels good to tell myself the truth. and it starts happening more often. But if you never ask yourself that question, you're believing the lies that you're telling yourself. John Sang did. Thailand. So this is this is the way it is, really. And I wish that I could just snap my fingers and everybody would get it and go home and, spread this joy all around the world. But I can't, because it has to be an effort from you. It has to be your effort for yourself. No one in this world can do it for you. It's impossible. There will be people who say they can. There will be people who say, if you give me blah, 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 I can do it for you. I can make you feel good. I can align your chakras and I can, yeah. A lot of people these days, I've seen it. Hundreds of them.
Hello.
Hundreds and hundreds of them. Charging people for it. It's not necessary. Not necessary. You're never supposed to charge anyone. This is just, it's free. It's life. This is, and if you do it like that, your life will never be the same. It will change. It will change in ways you can only, you can't really even imagine. That feeling of peace, you can't imagine it until you have it, because it's not what you think. The things we think in our mind are stories that we have made up, that we've told ourselves. They're stories. But the minute you start saying to yourself, is it true? Is it true? Is what I'm saying true or not true? Don't ask me. You ask you. Ask yourself, is this the truth that I am speaking to myself? Is it? And then answer it. But answer it honestly. So what if it wasn't true? Don't criticize yourself because it wasn't true, because then you're going down that path of junk. It's the same difference. Speaking a lie or criticizing yourself, it's going to create the same thing in you. Don't do that. You told a lie to yourself. Okay. Did it kill you? No. Did you recognize it? Yeah. Kudos. Good job. Don't get down on yourself. Tell yourself, good job. I recognized it this time. It's okay. Because you've spent a lifetime doing it. You've spent your entire life telling yourself stories, telling yourself lies your entire life. I did it. We all did it. We're taught to do that. It's a continual thing. We're taught that little white lies are okay. No, they're not. They're the same as a lie. There's no difference in a white lie and a lie. It's still an untruth. But we're taught it's okay. No, it's not. And the minute you start only speaking truth inside yourself, that's when your life really starts to change. It starts to shape in ways you have no idea. I know firsthand, I've done this. I had no clue I'd be going to Thailand. Never, ever entered my mind. I didn't even know where Thailand was. But now I spend most of my time there. How did that happen? Because I started telling myself truth. I met an old monk who told me, speak truth to yourself. I was like, oh my God. But the thing of it is when he spoke to me, it wasn't in English. And y'all know that.
Mhm.
So the heart knows truth. Your heart already knows truth. It also knows a lie. And when you speak lies in yourself, it hurts inside. You can feel it. Like it's not a pleasant experience. And every one of us has experienced it. And we're like, it's like this, your stomach kind of goes in a knot and you kind of feel like, oh man, I just told a lie. You tell yourself that. And then you say to yourself, it's okay. It was just a little one. It's all right. Well, it is okay. But if you continue to do that, that's all you'll ever be. You'll just be in that cycle. But at any moment in time, you can speak truth to yourself. It's that easy. Like, seriously. In a moment, in an instant of time, you can speak truth to yourself. Every second is a new opportunity to speak truth to yourself. And there's no, until you're dead, there's no limit on the chances that you get. But my question to you is, why? Why would you want to have all these chances when you could be living all that time in peace, love, and happiness? Why do you need all those chances? Why not just embrace it? You understand? Because we think there's some big deal that we have to do. There's not. This is not a big deal. It's easy. It's an easy deal. It's the wonderful thing about it is that we don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to pay anybody. We don't even have to talk to anybody else about it. Just do it inside of you. That's it. That's all you have to do. This is it. Really. There's nothing else to it. And once you start doing it on a regular basis, you will see your life start to change. 100%. I'm telling you, 100%. If you do it all the time, really from your heart for yourself, not for someone else. You do it for someone else, it's not going to work. Won't work. 100%. I'm telling you. You have to do it for yourself. This has to be something that you want for yourself. What is it that you want for yourself? Do you want to live in the way you've been living your whole life? That's okay. If that's what you want for yourself, okay. It's got nothing to do with me. You understand? I'm doing me. I'm going to live in peace. I'm going to continue to do that because that's my choice. But y'all can choose whatever you want. That's freedom. You have that freedom. But make no mistakes, there's consequences to everything. So that's why you want to evaluate inside your own self. Because whatever your choice, this is your choice. Who does it affect? It affects you. It affects your peace. It affects your happiness. Totally up to you. Whatever you want to do. That's the freedom. We think we have, we have to do it. No, you don't. You don't have to. I mean, I want to. I want it because I like it. I like that feeling of kindness. I like it. I want to be that. And I strive every day. Am I successful every day at being kind to everyone in the world? No. But I strive for that. That's what I try to do inside myself for myself. Not for anybody else. I do it because that's the person I want to be. Who do you want to be? You know? And I'm going to tell you, we're all the same inside. You know, we're all the same. Like the outside, we look different, but we're all the same inside. We were given the exact same things. Exactly. But most of us don't know what it is that we were given. But you, every one of you, have this gift. People tell me all the time, I have probably heard it 25 times this week. Oh, I wish I had what you had. You do. Like you do. Literally, you do. Well, I can't see things like you do. Well, the reason you cannot see things like I see things is because I clean my heart every single day, multiple times a day. That's what I'm doing. So no, unless you're doing that, you're not going to see what I see because your heart has to be clear and clean. You have to be loving yourself enough to love other people the way they are. It's hard. It's not easy because we're not taught that. But it's a daily, effort. Widya, effort. It's daily. I do it daily. Is it, do I just, every day, do I just go off and my life is perfect? No, I just had a bout of cancer. No, it's not perfect. But it was perfect because it taught me so many things. It showed me every step of the way I was seeing, oh, okay, I got it. It was beautiful. Like, how many people do you know that get cancer and say, oh, it was beautiful? But it was because I learned so many things. And it showed me how to be a kind person. Like it was showing me this. It was showing me people that didn't have compassion. It was showing me people who did. All of it. It showed me everything. And I watched it. And I took it in. I could have sat and said, oh, woe is me. I have cancer. Oh, my God. No. Why? If you have cancer, then that means you have a shorter amount of time, so people think, to live happily, in my opinion. We're all leaving this world. There's no question. We came here knowing that we're going to die. We're not going to live forever. And we never know when that moment is. We don't know. Most of us live as if it will be forever. We live like just frivolous, like your moments aren't precious. They are precious because you have a short time here, even though sometimes it seems long, especially when you're going through stuff. Like I'm sure it seemed a long time for Roger when he was in the hospital, but it goes by like that.
It did as far as the pain goes, but the reality of like you're saying is we don't know how much time we have here. And
Yep.
I didn't know a lot of it, especially being in intensive care. I could only go by what I heard you say. Tell me, well, you almost died 3 times. And you can hear someone tell you that so many times, but when you're out of it under the medication, the reality of the shortness of it all doesn't really click in. I had to be away from the hospital and get my head cleared from all the medications and being laying in a nursing home to come to the grips of the finality and how quick it was. And there was I started to
Okay,
get depressed,
you're getting sidetracked.
but
so
the quickness of it was it can be that short.
Yes.
And
My point, I gotta get us back on track because I have something I'm getting a point across. So in life, if we take the things that happen on daily basis. You know, we have stuff happen every day. Sometimes we have a flat tire. Sometimes, our windshield wipers might not be, we might need to get a new one. It's okay. Like all these things are just things happening. But if you look for things as those things are happening, you start to see how, I don't know, you call it universe, God, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. But you start to see how it's working with you. Even though it's things that you think you don't want. You think, I don't want that. But really, it's bringing it to you because it's what you need. And you're saying, I don't want it, but but then it'll come back to you again, because it usually does that. And then it'll come back again. And then the next thing you know, you're like knocked to your knees and going, okay, I'll take it. Right? Because we're not paying attention that the universe or God or Buddha, whatever you want to call it. So whenever I say the universe, y'all know, I mean the power that is in existence, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So as you do that, you don't know that it is actually working for you. It's helping you get to where you need to be. But we fight it because we think, no, I don't want that. I don't want it. But in reality, it's the best thing for you. And eventually you'll get it. But it may not be right this second because you're fighting it. Do you understand? And the more you fight it, then it's going to happen more and more and more, until eventually you throw up your hands and you say, okay, let's do it. I want to see what it is I need to do in order to make myself my true self. Because we're walking around as if we're here meant to please everyone else in the world. We're walking around like that, trying to make everybody happy. I don't want anybody mad at me. It's okay for people to be mad at you.
Every day.
It's okay for people to go out of your life. It is. Because sometimes when they go out of your life, they weren't meant to be in your life. It happens. Sometimes they needed a break. Sometimes they had another path to go. It's okay. Most of the time when you start working on you and you start actually getting it, all of your friends change. All of them change. Because the person you were before isn't the person you are now. And so the person you were before had a group of friends that did things that were destructive to you and themselves. And that's who you were before. But then when you start working on you and actually start seeing yourself as a beautiful being with all kinds of loving kindness, and you start seeing the world in those eyes of kindness, when you start seeing that, then you see that place that you were isn't really where you needed to be. That this is where you needed to be. And then all kinds of doors start opening for you. I mean, all kinds of doors, things you can't even imagine. And I'm going to tell you that be careful in the wishing department as you go through this journey, because your wishes are granted, but you have no idea what you're wishing for.
Like the elephants.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You see, what happens is we think we know, but we haven't played out the steps to get what exactly we were wishing for. So there's many steps to that. And those steps can be pretty severe. And you realize it midway in between the wanting and the getting. You realize, oh my God, I wish for this, but I didn't know
Yeah.
what exactly this was. You understand what I'm saying? And then you get, what am I going to do now? Happens all the time. And I speak to people and I say, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because you're not thinking about the steps that it takes to get what you want and all those avenues that are going to, I mean, it can, just little things like, I wish I had a lot of money. You speak that, you don't know how that money's coming. And you might have to sacrifice something for that money. It could be a death in the family, an inheritance. You asked for it. There it is. But something has to be given to receive, you see? So when we just, I wish, I want, that's why it's called, that's why they say wishing, wanting creates suffering. 100% of the time. Like, if you start saying to yourself, I have enough, I need nothing, I have everything I need. What's the other thing I tell you guys to say to yourself all the time?
I love me.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you to yourself. Because we really torture ourselves. And we treat ourselves like an object that isn't real. But we're real. Like, this is a heart of the universe. Like, your heart is the same heart as the universal heart. Do you understand that? And when you are speaking negatively about yourself, since your heart is connected to the universal heart, what else are you speaking negatively about?
Can't fathom.
I mean, think about it. It's truth. What I'm speaking to you is true. No matter what you believe in. If you believe in God, you believe in Buddha, you don't believe in God, no matter what it is, you believe in karma, whatever, you speak it, it's coming back. And it does in ways we don't know. If we always just have love in our heart, always, just try to have love in your heart. And when you feel like you're not loving someone or something, walk away. Don't engage in a negative thing, because it will come back. It's pinging. Like, this is what happens in our life. It happens all the time. I see it every single day. I see it in my life. Like, I see things that even when you're speaking, not thinking, that's when it usually happens. Oh, I wish I've done it. Oh, I wish and the next thing I know, it's happening. And I'm like, oh, I wished for that. Everything I've ever wished for has come true. Think about that. And I would probably say that everything everybody else wished for came true too. It's just they didn't know what they were wishing for. Like, you make a wish and you think you know what it is, but then no, there's too many variables in the world, you see, because you have no control over what he does. Or she does, or she does, or she does, or she does. And so that's a variable that you don't know. So when you wish for something and it involves anyone else, which
99.9% of the time it does. Whatever you're wishing for is also going to affect someone else. Because that's just the law of the world. That's the nature of the universe here that we're in right now. Our energies affect other people. That's a true fact. And it's been proven over and over again. It's scientific. And they're finding that everything in the world has a vibration. Yeah. They've known it for many, many years. So you think that the vibration, we're vibrating. That's what we do. We're vibrating at a certain level. You think your vibration is affecting somebody else in this room? Absolutely 100% it is. And when you share your loving kindness, it's amazing what happens. Like it happens immediately. Like it doesn't take any time to actually see. And you don't do it for the results. Don't look for it, but it happens. It just happens. Like it's like sunshine. It's exactly like sunshine. Like when the sun comes out and it's shining, everybody's face lights up. Everybody's happy. Oh, the sun's out. Yay. You know, when it's raining, oh, it's raining. Not me. I'm like, oh, I love the rain. I love the rain. I love the sun. I love the wind. I love the earth. I love it all. Why not? Like, what does hate do?
No.
What does not liking it do? Doesn't make it go away. Doesn't change it. I'll just be okay with it. Let it go. Let it be. It does. If it doesn't hurt you, what's the problem?
There's no.
Right. So if we speak inside ourselves these things like this, like when I'm speaking to you, you can speak to yourself. And you can start, hey, give yourself a pep talk. Give some understanding for yourself. When I was taught, like when I was really, really taught by a monk who did not speak any English, best teaching I ever had. And the reason is I had to give the effort to understand what he was saying. I had to give that effort. Nobody was doing it for me. I had to actually read a dictionary that was English to Pali dictionary. I had to read that to understand even a little glimpse of what he was saying. And then I had to read another book that was about like this to understand more of what he was saying. But then I got it. And the minute I got it, it was freedom. It was peace. Oh, it was like you could see love everywhere, even in the most angry people. Even in the most angry people, you could see it. And it's beautiful. And you know that is what will change the world. You know that. Like there's no question about it. Because you see how it does in little, like when I walk into a restaurant filled with people, but you can see it. And it's amazing how one little tiny bit of kindness can alter things. It will change the course of someone's life.
You feel it in the room.
And it's an amazing thing. Yeah, I'm going to give the effort to keep that going on for the rest of my life. How do I do it? Well, I do it probably not like most of you will do it because I get up early in the morning. That is my space. That is my time. I don't allow anything to distract me.
So I get up at 4 o'clock, sometimes earlier. Depends. If I wake up earlier, I get up earlier. I wake up at 2:30, I'm getting up at 2:30. What do I do when I get up? I go straight into meditation. Because I want to get everything I need for the day. And it gives it to me. And it's an amazing way that it does. Like, I get done meditation and I sometimes see, like, okay, I know why that happened. Like, it shows me, like, almost like a video almost. It's called Vipassana meditation. So I did a lot of that. Done that a lot. When I was in Thailand, 12 hours a day, we went up on the mountain and did 12 hours a day for 3 months. That was intense. But now I do it because it's so peaceful. It's so beautiful. Like those moments when there's nothing else in the world to interfere with your connection to whatever you believe in. But you will definitely have a connection if you do it every day. And that connection wants you to be successful. It wants that for you. Like the higher power that be, again, God, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, wants your success in this. It's rooting for you. It's doing everything it possibly can without taking your free will to guide you so that you can find your true self. I'm speaking truth. I know it's true because I now can look back on my entire life and see every place that it took me to get me right here. And if one of those things had not happened, I would not be sitting here. Were they all good? Oh, no, they were not by far. Some of them were the worst things that have ever happened to me. Some of them were the best. And some of them were both at the same time. And then you realize this is life. This is life. Life is accepting. You accept it. Whatever it is. Don't fight it. It's like with my cancer. Everybody's like, oh, I would get that surgery done. They don't know what the surgery is involved in the surgery. They don't know. They don't know my game plan. They don't know my connection. They know nothing. So I don't even pay attention. I speak, you can if you want. And I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm not going to tell you it's good or bad because it's you doing it for yourself. So you choose. That's what you have to do. You have to choose for yourself. But every single thing in life is taking you to this beautiful place. It's waiting. You'll get it. You'll get it eventually. It's up to you how long. Like people have asked me, how long does it take you? Literally.
Lifetime.
Well, it doesn't have to. It can be instantaneous if you do it all the time. But if you never do it, you can't expect to have what you don't put effort in. Like you can't expect to all of a sudden, I'm enlightened and not do anything, not get to know your inner self. Then what? Like, suppose that happened. Suppose all of a sudden you click your fingers, you're enlightened. Then what are you going to do with it? Because you've never evaluated or looked at or experienced what to do with it. That's why you don't get it like that. You have to go through all these little, yes, you have, this is life. You have to go through it. It's showing you, it's a teacher. Like, it is the greatest teacher you will ever have. But you have to listen to the lecture. You have to actually listen to the universe as it's talking to you. And it's not looking out and going, oh, how can I fix that person? Or how can I? No, you have to clean your heart first. It's great that you want to help people. That's beautiful. And I'm not saying don't help people. I'm saying help yourself first. Then do that. Because you will be a lot more help to somebody when you've got your life straight. See, the people that flock together are the ones that don't have their life straight, and they're all telling each other what they think they should do. Seriously, I've experienced it on Facebook. People went into telling me what I needed to do on Facebook. You know, you shouldn't go to Thailand. Your dad's 90. You need to stay here. If I listened, I would never do anything I've done. You know, the first time I went to Thailand, my dad said to me, I'm sorry you think you have to do this. And I said, this is beautiful, Dad. It's an adventure. I'm excited. And it was an adventure. But everybody's life is an adventure. We don't know what's going to happen. The only thing for sure we know is we're going to die one day. That's all we really know. Anything else, we don't know. But I can tell you how to make that journey a beautiful one, if you want it to be that. And it's easy, but it's not easy. Because you have to give the effort. Nobody wants to give the effort. They think other people have to do it for them. Seriously. But they can't. They can't. And I know I've said this many times tonight, but I'm trying to drive this point home, because if you don't get this, if you don't get that you have to do it for yourself, you'll never get it. You've got to do this for yourself. Nobody, there is not one single person in this world that can do it for you. There are people who will say it. Run from them. Because they can't. It's free will. And you have it. That's the beauty of it. We go through, when I was young and going through life, I thought life was like a chore. It was really hard for me. I thought it was devastating. I tried to kill myself a couple times because it was I felt like it was just so hard. But I didn't have the tools I have today. You know, once you get these tools that makes life easy, it's not hard anymore. It's easy because you realize that you're in the driver's seat. Nobody else is. You are driving your train wherever you want to go. And you can. I went to Thailand. Literally, I had $2,500 to my name. I'm flying 23 hours, over 23 hours, to some place that I had never been. I didn't speak the language and I didn't know anybody. Blind faith, huh? I got on a bus. I landed in Bangkok. Slept in Bangkok one night. Got on a plane, went to India, and spent 10 days in India on a bus with a bunch of people I did not know. And no one spoke my language. Josh did, but he forgot to tell me anything. But you see, this is life. If I had said, no, I'm afraid, I'm not going to do it, I would have never gained the knowledge and the wisdom that I have gained from that. Like, take that chance. Because if you don't, and I wished for that. That was a wish years ago. Like years ago. I think I was probably in my 20s. Okay. And I'll be 60 in April. So it's been a long time ago. I was watching Ramadas and what was his name? He's dead now. Anyway, I was watching a bunch of people trying to gain my enlightenment from these people, and they had been to India. And they had sat in front of a guru, right? An Indian guru monk. And his name was Maharaji. And Maharaji taught them well. But Maharaji had gifts, like he could read your mind, like truly read your mind, and he would speak it to you. So Ramadas went, and he got just completely enamored with Maharaji. And eventually Maharaji sent him home because, first of all, attachment, you know. So it's funny, at that moment in time in my life, I was like, man, I wish I could have a guru like that. I made a wish. And I didn't know where that wish would take me. That was a journey right there. Because what I had to do is I had to meet a monk, first of all. And the monk I met needed my help. And that opened up a Pandora box that has not closed yet. And so I had no idea what that wish would do. Like literally, it took me into a place, and I was supposed to do that. Like that was where I was supposed to be so that I could learn what I needed to learn. But there was a price to pay. Like you always have to, when you receive, you have to give back. And even though we don't think about that, it's true. Like you give back to the universe. So if you learn something, you need to give back by teaching it. If you receive something, you should give back. Like this is just, it's like compassion. It's part of that whole thing. So, I hadn't made a paycheck in a while. I gave that waitress a little bit of money. It wasn't a whole lot, but to her, it was a lot. You know what I mean? Like everywhere we go. Now, do I know what she's going to do with that money? Right. Doesn't matter. I don't care. It wasn't about the money. It was about loving kindness. It will change everything. 100%. I have seen it. I have seen it where people are just irate, angry, and someone give them kindness and it turns them like a dime. It's beautiful. So I don't know, I've been doing this for a long, long, long time. I don't know how long I'm going to do it. And I'm not certain. I try very hard to gain wisdom to share. I don't know if it happens to get through to anyone or not. I never know. I leave before I know. But what I do know is that if I never shared it, it would never get spread. So hopefully, what I'm hoping through all of this is that you gain a little bit of wisdom, and you have the heart inside, you see it, that you see your heart. Because if you don't see your own heart, how can you see someone else's? Like, feel your heart. Like, really, I mean, look deep inside of yourself and feel that. You know, sometimes you have to put your hand on your heart and just feel your kindness, feel your love inside of yourself. You know, it's like giving yourself a hug. Try it. I mean, try it. Like right now. I mean, put your hand on your heart. Breathe in. Look for the love inside your heart. Look for it. Try to find it. Try to look in there and see that little kid. The one that likes to have a lot of fun. The one that has compassion for the other kids. See that kid in there.
I'm the
That's
same
who
kid.
you are, huh?
I'm the same kid.
Right. That's who you are. That's who you are.
Never changed.
Life has tried to pull that away from you. But that is who you are. Make no mistake. That's who you are. As we get older, we're told, no, you're not. Be quiet. Da, 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 da. But children should be heard. They're beautiful. Yesterday, the whole time I was sitting there eating with my dad, there was this little red-headed little girl in a high chair. And I'm sitting there talking to my dad, and she would go, hi, hi, hi. And I would say, hi. She'd go, crinkle up her nose. And she wasn't probably 2 years old. I don't think she was 2. But she did that the entire time. Isn't that beautiful? Like, she was sharing her love with me. I was like, give it here, girl. I'm with you. It was beautiful. I was loving it. My dad, he was like, what's going on? That's okay. I just told him, there's a little girl over there, just cute. And we're playing a game. We were, it was beautiful. This is life. That's real life. Like, it happens every day. It happens to you every day. But sometimes you don't recognize it. Sometimes you're walking and you're busy and you're thinking and your mind is going and you miss it. It's okay. It'll happen again. It happens all the time. And see, what happens is that when you actually clean your heart and start loving yourself again, what happens is then you start it's like you have your sunglasses on right now. And you kind of see the loving kindness, but you kind of don't. And then you take your glasses off and it's like, there it is. That's what happens when you clean your heart. Like, you're able to see it. And it's like amazing, beautiful things. Just like little kids, like that. That's an amazing, beautiful thing right there.
What do you mean by clean your heart?
What I mean is that you need to look inside yourself and forgive yourself a lot, over and over and over again. And I had to do it. I still do it. I still do it every day. Because I still have thoughts. I gained weight, or I need to lose this or that. Then I say, no, I'm okay. I forgive myself. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Every day. Because I'm trying to be nice to myself. Like, I try to treat myself as if I were someone else that I treat kindly. because we treat other people better than we treat ourselves. Straight across the board, everybody in the world does that. I don't know why. I have no idea. But if you start cleaning your heart, then you start loving yourself. You've forgiven yourself. You start loving yourself. And then you start seeing that. Everybody. You see it in everybody. And you see that they don't see it in themselves. And then, at first you have to really, this is why you have to do this. You have to meditate every day. You have to clean your heart every day, because what happens is you see other people's hearts and you see that they don't see their own. And if you're not careful, you'll get caught up in their drama. You'll get caught up in their suffering, because then you'll feel sorry for them because they don't know what you know, or they don't feel that love that you feel. And then pretty soon your love fades away because you've taken on their junk. So this is why you have to practice every day. You have to clean your heart, your own self. You have to forgive your own self and love your own self and find that child again. If you have to do that every day, if you have to put your hand on your heart and every day you find that little kid inside of yourself that's kind and loving, do it every day. If you have to do that, do it. But it'll get to the point where you won't have to do that every day, because you're automatically being kind and loving to yourself. Like, that becomes your new habit. Right now, it's not your habit, but it can be. It's just creating it. You just got to do over and over again. Repeating the same thing over and over again creates a habit. It's like anything else. It's like when you learn to talk, you have to repeat mama, mama, mama. Then you start talking mom. But if you don't practice that, you're unable to form those words. Same thing with everything that you do. And if you keep that going with everything you do, your life is so much easier. It's so much easier. It's not hard anymore. It's very peaceful and easy. And automatically, no matter what happens, I knew automatically, okay, there's cancer on my head, but I know I'm going to be okay. How did I know that? Because I'm always okay. If I die, I'm still okay. So it's not a big deal. So what am I doing? I'm going to live till I die. It could be 5 years. It could be 20 years. It could be 30 years. I don't care. I'm not worried about the time. I'm worried about living in the moment of today with peace, happiness, and loving kindness in my heart. And you do that, and the world around you changes. But if you are angry, if you're resentful, if you're sad, depressed, all of that is a lower vibration. You're not going to, you have to speak truth. So if you're depressed, you're angry, you're upset, you have to look at it. Like, you have to take a minute and you have to go to yourself, okay, why am I depressed? And then you say to yourself, I don't know, let's pick a random thing, because I didn't get that job I wanted. Okay, you didn't get that job you wanted. So it's true you didn't get that job. But you don't have to be depressed about it. Just a job. Like, another one will come. That job was not your job. It wasn't for you. You thought you wanted that job, but if you got that job, the shit might have hit the fan. You don't know what would have happened. You might have got sexually harassed. You might have been, you don't know. So that job wasn't for you. The universe was looking out for you right there. Don't fight that. Don't fight that. Because if you fight it and you go back and you try to get it and you try to get it and then you get it, you're going to see why you weren't supposed to have it. You'll see it. It'll give it to you eventually. But then you'll know why you shouldn't have got it. That's what happens. 100% of the time. You know, it's either you're going to go through it if you fight the universe. You're going to go through trials. You're going to go through trials anyway, but it's much easier if you're not fighting. And I'm telling you, it is working with you. Like, it's actually nudging you and guiding you. And sometimes that is painful. Yes, it is sometimes. You know, this wasn't a pleasant experience, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be a pleasant experience because I know it's guiding me to where I need to be. And then what happens is when you're where you need to be and you have the love in your heart, people show up. And they show up because they want to learn how to love. And you get to teach them. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. And maybe they'll show up in the form of, I don't know, a dog. You don't know how it's going to show up. Like a dog, maybe you go adopt a dog. You don't know. I'm not telling anybody to go adopt a dog. Okay. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it could be in that. And then when you go to adopt that dog, you meet someone who needed something. It happens like that. Things are used in this world. You know, things are used so that we can help each other. That's why we're here. People haven't figured it out yet. That's why we're here. We were put here to figure out how to all work together and live happily and be kind and loving to each other and be in unison. And the minute that happens, oh my God, the things that will happen in this world. Because it happens on a small scale every day, I see it. But imagine it happening on a worldwide scale. Might be heaven on earth, we don't know. It may not get better than that. Because if everybody was kind, loving, patient, gave effort, if everybody was walking around doing that for themselves, there would be no one looking at someone else and pointing the finger because they'd be too busy working on themselves. And as they work on themselves, their light shines. And when your light shines, you really don't have to speak. It's not necessary. I've been in a room where I could talk to somebody and my mouth never moved. Isn't that right, Vanessa? But they heard me. They heard exactly what I said. It was beautiful. But the only way to do that is through cleaning your heart, through doing you. And it has to be pure love. It can't be for a selfish reason. The only way you can speak without speaking is for a selfless reason. That's it. And when you do that, it's nothing short of a miracle. I've witnessed it. I've seen it. It's an amazing, amazing thing that happens. And we all have the ability. See, we walk around as if we're not special. We're all special. And everybody can do it. Every day of my life I hear, oh, you're special. I wish I could do that. My father said it to me yesterday. And I said, Dad, you can do it. Anybody can do what I do. And he said, oh, no, I can't see people's heart like that. I said, because you haven't cleaned yours. But he don't know what I'm talking about when I say that. See? Because sometimes I speak from another, yes. And sometimes it's not easy to understand. I know that. But I speak factual. Like I'm speaking I don't add emotion into it. I'm speaking straight. And that's like the monks do. They do the same thing. Sometimes I have to explain what they're trying to say because they talk factual. Where we here in America, we speak about emotions, what we want, but it's not factual. So when you start speaking factual to yourself, that's when you're telling yourself the truth. That's how you know it's true. It's a fact. It can't waver one way or the other. That's, it's hard to know when you're telling yourself the truth. So this is how you know. It's a fact. It can't waver either way. It is what it is. That's a truth. But if it could be this or be that, that's not a truth. That's not a fact. So ask yourself these questions when you're talking to yourself about yourself. Is that true? Is that a factual thing? And you'll tell yourself yes. So ask it again. Because I'm going to tell you the answer is no. Okay? The answer when you're having to ask yourself that, when you're going through something inside yourself and you're having to ask that question, the answer to is it true is no. Every time. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like when you're going through an argument inside your own self and you're trying to convince yourself of something, it's not going to be true no matter how much you try to convince yourself. It is a lie, and you might as well just tell yourself it's a lie, because if you don't and you go with the lie that you're telling yourself, it's going to create suffering in you. 100%. You're going to suffer over it because you told yourself a lie. It happens. So what do you do when you tell yourself a lie?
Forgive yourself.
Yes. Don't criticize yourself. Go back and go, okay, truth is, that wasn't a truth that I told myself. It's okay. I forgive myself. Let's move on. That's all you have to do. Because I'm telling you, every day of your life, this is going to happen. This is life. This is this world. This is what happens in this world. So it's okay. Don't make a big deal out of things that don't need to be a big deal. It's simple. Tell yourself it's simple. Don't tell yourself it's hard. Like everybody I teach tells me it's hard. It's not hard. You're telling yourself it's hard, but it's not hard. Is it hard to tell yourself the truth? I mean, all it is just tell yourself the truth. But you choose to make it hard. The truth is it's not hard. It's just words. Is that true? Like when you're speaking, that's just words, right? So why is it so hard? Because you tell yourself that it's hard. You're speaking that into yourself. Don't do that. Yeah, just tell yourself, I got this. All I got to do is tell myself the truth. Give myself a little love. Forgive myself. Be patient. These are things that we should do anyway. We do it with everybody else. Like everybody else in the world, we do this with. Well, except for maybe our kids sometimes. We may not do that. We'd be so patient with our kids, but for the most part, we do it with everybody else, but we don't do it with us. We don't do it with ourselves. That is the only way. There's no other way. Inside your own self, you have to be truthful. You can't, if you tell yourself stories, it'll just be stories forever. But once I'm telling you, and I don't, I wish there was some other way for me to relay it to you or give you a glimpse of how it is, because I almost feel like if you could just have that just for maybe a day, you wouldn't want to let it go. You'd want to keep that forever. Like you'd want to just keep doing that because you had felt the miraculous things happen inside of you when you give yourself kindness and love. And there's nothing quite like it in the world. Like you can't get it from another person. That feeling of, it's like you've actually come to a point where you do forgive yourself and you realize that everyone is part of you and everything is part of you. And when you think like that and you see it like that, then you can start to see that all it is about loving kindness. Like it's all love. That is our connection. That's it. It is that. But the only way to open that door that we have locked with many keys is to be truthful and kind to yourself. And you have to do it every day. But it becomes something that you really want to do every day because you feel that love that you have for yourself. Like imagine the relationship, like if you've ever had a relationship, imagine having that relationship and that feeling that you felt when you first started that relationship. Like that giddy, that feeling of, oh, I want to be around you all the time, 24/7. And then, that feeling of, oh, I can't wait to see them. And you know how that felt inside of you? That's how you feel for yourself. Like you can't wait to get up in the morning and commune with nature. It's exciting. Like like the crows come to my window every day. How crazy is that, right? They come to my window and they sit there. Rah, 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 rah. I'm like, I hear you. It's beautiful. And when all this takes place inside of you, nature feels it. And nature wants to be part of you too. So animals don't want to be away from you. Even wild animals, like birds. When I'm in Sri Lanka or Thailand, birds will sit on my hand, wild birds, Nothing's allowed to be killed on my farm. Not a snake, not an ant, nothing. And it lives in happiness. You walk on the farm, everybody's happy. The fruit's happy. The animals are happy. The people come on my farm, they're all happy. It's beautiful. But it's because I've cleaned my heart. So when they come to this place, it's clean. There's no junk. So everything wants to be there. Doesn't it, Daniel? We got geckos or lizards or whatever, 2Ks. They call them 2Ks over there. Snakes. We got snakes, but they never bother,
Bees.
Bees. We got bees. They don't bother you. We got chickens and dogs, and sometimes the cows come over, and
Bison, or
whatever
Water
they're,
buffalo.
yeah, water buffaloes, and just lots of birds, and whatever. They just come, and they're all welcome. Even the villagers, they come. They want to make, sometimes they want to make papaya salad, so they want to take one of my papayas. Oh, go ahead. See, it's sharing, loving kindness, being kind. And then the whole village wants to be that. They showed me that. And they haven't wavered. Took Daniel and Roger, they were loving and kind to them.
Mhm.
Brought them food every day. It's beautiful. See, when you experience it, there's nothing like it. It's just, love is magical. And it's not the kind of love where you fall in love and all gushy. No, you're having love for yourself.
Real.
I mean, yeah, it's real. It's real like you've never experienced before. Real. And you'll experience it when you give the effort. You'll 100%. Like, it happens. But if you don't give the effort, how can you expect to have it? Like, how can you expect to have it? If you don't go to work, do you get a paycheck?
Nope.
No.
Mhm.
If you don't put gas in your car, can you drive it?
Nope.
No. You need to fuel your tank.
Pushing all hills.
I'm telling you, if you do it, you will be successful. There's no way around it. It's a guarantee, 100%. But you have to do it for yourself. You can't do it for somebody else. It won't work. Does not work for somebody else. If you're given the effort because you want to please someone else, nope, not going to work. It has to be because you have enough love for yourself to take the time to take care of yourself. It's the only way. So this is your challenge. Can you do it? Do you take the challenge? What is that? Mission Impossible? How he goes, this is your, yeah, and if you choose to accept it.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Mission.
Yes. This is your mission if you choose to accept it. So hopefully everyone will accept it because it's coming whether you want it to or not. Change is coming. Nothing ever stays the same. So, all right, we'll do another meditation before we go. And take a deep breath in and let it out. Another deep breath in and let it out. And one more time. Deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in, let it out. Another deep breath in, and let it out. One more time. Deep breath in and let it out. Metta Jeto Imutiya. Karuna Jeto Imutiya. Mudita Jeto Imutiya. Ubeka Jeto Imutiya. Okay, good job. So, how's everybody feeling? Good, good, good. Everybody okay? All right. Okay, so I am, for those who don't know, I am headed to, well, first I'm going to see my sister in Florida on the 7th, and then I'm headed to Thailand. So I will determine whether I'm going to do online while I'm there or not. I'm not certain. So I'll let everybody know. Okay. All right.
How you been doing?